Okay, well, I'm back with another product for the 883 iron. And for some reason, I keep finding products where there aren't any reviews, but they're pretty unique to that bike. So I figured I'd get the product and share with you what I found out about it. So this is the West Eagle H0476. It's their flat double seat Type 2. And this should fit 04 and up, so 04 to 2020 Sportsters. Mine has a 3.3 gallon tank, and I'll show you Fitment later, but I wanted to compare it to the Corbin seat that I had on there. I bought that Corbin you see in the background from Marketplace. It's a really great seat. It's valued at about $850 if you buy it new. It's the Gunfighter and Lady. It has a removable backrest. This seat's been quite a challenge because of the mounting tab in the back, and I'll show you that. That's not part of the review, but it's so annoying because Corbin made it with a slot, and so when you put your fastener through this, it naturally just wants to slide backwards. And then when that happens, the front of the seat disengages from under the fuel tank. So this is a real pain, required some engineering. Not by me, but some engineering and some 3D printing to prevent this from sliding. It's a little bit more of a challenge. The West Eagle seat, it has the standard tab. Pop that out real quick. That you'd expect. I made a leather tab here so it wouldn't touch the paint. I don't understand why they designed these to gouge right into the paint, but anyway. So we've got this ready to mount without any slots in it, which is good. And I made a little other tab, but I wanted to show you the differences here. Basically every seat for the Sportster, the stock seat and all the aftermarket seats, have this same bucket for the driver. And then you have different uncomfortable seats for the passenger. But this bucket style is terrible because it puts your butt further back than it should be, and then you have to lean forward to get the handlebars. And when you hit a bump with the notoriously horrible shocks on the Sportster, you're basically folding your back in half, and it feels really bad. So I didn't want to have that stance on the bike. I wanted to be more upright, like I've been on some of my other bikes, like my BMWs. So I was looking for a flat seat, and I stumbled across West Eagle. I really like this style. I've seen this style on Triumphs and Scramblers, but I also noticed it on the original seat on a 1972, I believe it was 72, CL175 Honda. It was basically the exact same seat. So it's got a nice classic look. The other thing is Sportsters weren't always cruisers. They were like a standard motorcycle with a flat seat at one point. Of course, I know they had solo seats too, but there was a model of the Sportster in the 60s that had a nice flat seat, and that seems like the right ergonomic style. I don't want to look like I'm relaxed on the sofa when I'm riding my motorcycle. I want to be comfortable and I want to be able to put some miles on it. So I was looking for a flat seat, and I found this. It had to be shipped from Japan, so it shipped directly from Tokyo to me, and I wanted to show you the construction. The first thing I want to point out, it's really light. It does not have a metal or fiberglass pan. The seat pan it looks like it's ABS plastic, so it's lightweight. I know that's not desirable to have an ABS plastic seat pan. Most people are going to want a metal seat pan, but that's what this came with. It's got a couple of the rubber feet for it to sit on the bodywork of the bike. Has a little warning here that's pretty funny. It tells you that it's not waterproof, and it says this seat is not waterproof. We don't take any responsibility for water stained, and don't accept any complaint about it. So that's a pretty funny warning sticker to have on your seat. Anyway, back here is the traditional mounting bracket for Sportster. It's got two little screws that hold it here. Not too excited about that. But when you go up to the front, It's got a nice big tongue here that mounts into the fuel tank, but it's painted metal, so I wasn't comfortable with that. I didn't want that to scratch the paint on the fuel tank, so I just put some felt around that to protect the fuel tank's paint, even though you'll never see it. I just don't like the idea of the metal on paint combination. I've already mounted this. I took it off just so I could show you these details. It's a vinyl seat. They run about $500 online, and I'll share that information with you on where you can buy this. But it totally changes up the look of the bike, and it does raise you up. I think about 1 inch to 2 inches from where like the Corbin seat and the stock seat sit you down. Because of the low profile on the side, but the higher seating position, it does expose some hardware on the Sportster that you wouldn't normally see when you have a seat like the Corbin or the stock seat on it. So I think that's about it for the review of the materials and the construction. So what we'll do next is we'll mount it onto the bike, and we'll take a look at it installed. So with this seat, I feel like I'm elevated a little higher. My back is straight, so it feels like that's what it looks like. And that's sort of what I'm going for. I was trying to get out of this position and more into that position. And that's just a preference for me to be comfortable. My back gives me some trouble. And I think it can improve the look of the bike too, give me a different look. So this is sort of what I was going for, is to get my back out of that soft position and more into this position. Go ahead and swap that seat out. We'll do this live. I'm just going to edit it, but why not? It takes a second. Pop this seat out. Just set it down. We'll put the Corbin seat on. Got this familiar profile where you have the bucket that I think was causing some problems for me. Just put this leather tab so I'll just put it in again. Try not to exaggerate it, but just to kind of let the, hopefully you can see that. I feel like I'm hinged at my mid-vertebrae. And when you take a hit with the bad suspension, even with the new shocks, the suspension's not that great. When you take a hit, it feels like it makes me want to fold like that. And I actually had to go to the acupuncturist to get my back working again. So that would be a good idea to get out of this position and more into that position. Change up the look of the bike. So I think we've accomplished that. I think the Corbin seat or these bucket style seats just aren't going to work for me. But that's not it's not poo-pooing on the Sportster. I've got a BMW behind me. I don't know if you can see it. And that bike is basically unrideable until I put a new seat on it. So not every bike manufacturer's got this figured out. So take this back off, and then I'll show you a couple of things about the Fitment. Put that down. So a few things to show you. We've got metal tab here on the seat, and I made a piece of felt to go around it. So it's going to go around the tab, just because I don't want it messing up the paint on the fuel tank. Although you don't see it, I don't think it's a good idea to be scratching your paint unless you have to. The other thing I want to show you is how to deal with the mounting tab here. It's got adjustment with 2 Phillips screws. I'm not thrilled about that because I don't know what's on the other side of those screws. I didn't take them all the way out, but I would hope there's threaded inserts there. But on this side, it's the same sort of issue that comes up with all the Sportster seats. And that is, we saw earlier that there's a hole in the mounting tab that's much wider than the 1/4-20 screw that you need to attach it. I didn't have that bushing, but I was lucky enough to have a connection that would 3D printed that for me. So it's a bit overkill. It's made out of Kevlar and chopped carbon fiber. You definitely don't need to go that high tech. You can probably get that part anywhere for $1, but that's what I have. And then I'll also point out I got a couple of other things here. I'm opting for a shoulder bolt in the back. It's got a hex insert there, not insert, but it takes a hex head driver, Allen key to turn it. I just don't want people to be able to steal my seat because of those little thumb screws that come with the Harleys. You can just unscrew it and walk off with the seat. The other thing is I cut a piece of leather to protect the paint. So the way it all goes together is pretty simple. I'll put the leather down like that. I'll put the bolt through the hole and tighten it. So we'll do that right now and put the felt in. So let's see. Insert it under the seat. That lined up. When I first put the Corbin seat on, I didn't put a good insulator between the tab and the paint. I just put a neoprene washer, and it chewed the paint up. It ate through the neoprene washer on one of my rides. So that was a bit of a bummer. I'll tighten that down with an Allen wrench later. But I also wanted to show you sort of the finished product and also some of the differences in coverage. So you can see here it's a little different. You've got some exposure that you didn't have before. This was covered by the Corbin seat. But I think if we take a step back, we take a look at that, we totally changed up the look of the bike. It's not looking like a cruiser anymore. It's looking more like that original Harley Sportster where it's got the flat seat, kind of looking almost like a Triumph profile. I have to tell you, I sort of fell in love with that seat about a week ago, 2 weeks ago. I saw one on a CL175, the original seat on a CL175. It's basically the same design. It's got a nice classic profile to it, and it gets me into the right seating position. But I think that's about it. You know, I don't think there's too many other modifications I'll do to the bike. I put the 13-inch Racing Brothers shocks, which I'm not exactly 100% pleased with, but they're better than stock. And I've got the West Eagle tuck and roll Scrambler style seat. And that's about it. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you like the look of this. And if you have any questions, I'm going to post an updated video about the comfort and use of the seat once I get some miles on it. All right. Thanks for watching.